I've been a member here for probably 5 years or more. I don't have a lot of free time, and I'm very busy. So, unfortunately, going out and meeting people in my area is not possible as I wished it was, simply because of the hours I work, and being that loneliness is not something anybody should have to go through. And sometimes coming home at night, I got on the laptop, and I don't know exactly how I found this site, but I did find it, and I met a few women and got to talking to them. They actually become, I don't want to say this to sound strange or whatever, but uh, some of the women I've talked to for quite some time are almost like family to me. I know them so well. And I do get messages quite often letting me know when they're online so we can spend time together and so forth. And I like that. It's very important to me. Um, it eliminates the loneliness, and it gives me something to do, and I help them and they help me. I have a lot of favorites like most members do, but there's probably no more than five, and I keep it to a minimum that I spend the majority of my time with. And those are the ones that are very important to me, I, I, I like to help them in the form of tips and privates and so forth. And um, I've formed a bond with them, and I think they formed a bond with me. I can count on them; they're trustworthy. And I don't, I, you know, I'm here because Jasmine's always been here to when I need, late at night when I need a little time to settle down and rest after I've come home from work. I can do that on this site.
Are you a member of any other camming sites, or have you been?
LiveJasmin for the last 5 years or so has been the only one I actually belong to and send money to.
What is it about LiveJasmin that has captured you for 5 years to where you're happy here?
Beautiful women, women that you can get to know on a personal level. And that's what the private messages are used for. And of course, that's what the privates taken and private are meant for. I said earlier in this interview, it's almost like you become a family member to them. I know a few that, I know their day-to-day routine, what they, you go in privates and they'll talk to you about things that they've done in their life in daytime. And I like that. It makes you feel like, you mean something to them, they mean something to you, but it just means it's been very effective for me to come into the site and feel like I'm important to them, like they're important to me. And you know, I don't know how to. I went through. I'll go into a little detail here. This is a little personal, but all right, I've gone through a lot of things in the last several years that has been rather difficult to go through, and some of these models that I've got to know very personally have understood what I went through and known what that felt like. And it has really helped me get through some of these issues. And that probably in itself is the number one reason why I have returned as often as it has remained a member here, because it, it, it's like they've helped me more so than I ever could imagine that could be done, if that makes any sense.
Wow, that's beautiful. So it sounds like to me that one of the main benefits that you're getting from Jasmin, that it's bringing to your life, is that it's bringing you a sense of community and belonging. You
Yeah.
use the word family, and family is, that's like where you belong. You know what I mean? Where you feel accepted.
Let me interject here. When you said you touch base on something, it's very true. Family is very important to me. And in the last several years, my wife and myself, we divorced. My daughter, I won't go into a lot of detail, but unfortunately, my daughter, her mother must have filled her head with a lot of stuff, garbage and so forth. So me and my daughter have kind of split ways, and I haven't had that family life that I really wanted in my life, and I've done without. And by meeting some of these models, it's become very important to me because they've actually felt like they've become family, something I've done without. And somebody else that has went through this would completely understand what I'm saying. When you need that bond that you look for your entire life and you've done without, or you broke that bond, if you can reestablish a bond with somebody here, even if it's a model, even if it's not family in real life, that bond really means something. To me, it does.
I completely agree with you. Absolutely. And you also mentioned something that I think is really strong and profound, which is that the connections you developed on the site actually is what helped carry you through and get you out of a really hard period.
It really does. It really, really does. Before I get off work at night, in the back of my mind, I'll know, well, okay, I can go home and look up such and such and know what time she comes online. And, she can tell me how her day's been, and I can tell her how my day is. And, I can feel like I've finalized my day in the aspect that I've been able to talk to her and she's talked to me, and we've discussed things that's happened in our daily life. I mean, I know it sounds kind of corny, but it's kind of how I look at it.
It doesn't sound corny at all, and it makes a lot of sense. Someone told me one time that you need three things in life to be happy. You need something to do, someone to love, and something to look forward to. And what I like about what you just said is that it sounds like the deep connections and authentic and real connections you've made on the site are your something to look forward to, and maybe even someone to love. Like that's what it's providing in your life.
I really like that, getting that email sent to me, private message telling me, hey baby, I'm online. I've waited for you. Let's spend some time together. That means a lot to me, and I appreciate that. What you said a moment ago earlier was 100% the three things that we all need in life. What you had mentioned, that's all very much true. And all right, a man, I speak on my behalf, all right, to work every day and have to come home to an empty house and get up in an empty house and so forth. All right, I'm 55 years old. I've been by myself for 25 years. I've been divorced for 25 years. So as you say, we all need somebody in our life to feel like we're needed, appreciated. And all right, some people might look at what I do and say, okay, you're doing this in the wrong way, because these people are online. They're not in your face. They're not human. No, they are human. And when you know them like I know them, and you talk to them on a daily basis, they become family. They're more than just somebody you meet online, and it's very important to me. And what you said a moment ago is 100% true. We all need that bond. We all need that feeling that we need, or we belong to somebody. And this, in my response, I need it. I found it, and I appreciate it. So, yeah, I return here almost on a daily basis, and I think it works for me.
Absolutely.
But any model I've followed, they will all tell you, yeah, the sexual aspect is fine, but I don't get on here for that primary reason. I get on here simply because I like to know what's going on in their life, and they ask me what goes on in my life, and we talk about personal things, and we talk about children and future events and future plans and past and so forth. And one of the most beautiful young ladies I'd ever met in my entire life, and I followed her for almost 2 years. She's now went on to start her own dry cleaning business. She was a registered nurse in real life. She had a schedule set up to where she did the nursing full time. She was on LiveJasmin part time. And she, I don't know how in the world to pull. I mean, she's a beautiful young lady, but how she managed to budget her schedule to go to school, be a registered nurse, do the site at the same time. She had two children, was amazing. But she's gone on, and she's now started her own business, and I understand she's doing rather well. I think that's great. I mean, I know a lot of models can make great successes of themselves making money here, but I know the primary reason most of them get on here is to do it temporarily until they can get to whatever they're hoping to do, and make a goal or make a career and do something else. But yeah, I've seen many that has went on and become very successful. Number one reason, like I say, we've all got issues, we've all got problems in our life, but I try to put them behind me. I try to put them in another room or another place where I can still continue to live my life and be the best person I can be.
Incredible. Thank you so much for this interview and for your time and for sharing. It's been a true pleasure to hear your stories.
Well, it's been a great time. I didn't know when I agreed to the interview, I really I didn't know what to expect. It's been rather good, and I've enjoyed it.
Oh, I'm happy to hear that. I'm so happy to hear that.